Good morning to you, and thank you for coming out a bit early for some of you that don't usually get up this early. But we're excited. It's our second fall camp, and I like the work that's been put in this summer with our strength staff and our players, and the changes in the culture and chemistry that I've seen. I made reference to that all at SEC Media Days, so you've heard that before, but I think last night's time we spent together and me introducing our topic for camp and talking about it for about 45 minutes was well received, and we're excited to get practice one going. We've worked on installs in the 45 minutes or so we get in July, and so I hope they can retain that. Obviously there were some meetings this morning, but excited to get out there. I think we're in good spirits and our bodies look good. I'm proud of Dom and his staff, Miss Danielle and her staff in the nutrition world, and anxious to see how we handle this next couple of weeks.
All right, front row, Justin.
You talked at media days about having freshman receivers have really good year ones. In your opinion, what does it take for a guy right out of high school to play that position and be a contributor as a freshman?
Obviously, you have to have the skill set and the ability to separate some of the best athletes in the college game. They play DB at these other teams that we're going to play, so it's impossible to do that if you're not blessed with the skill set. And then secondly, I think it's a mentality of play the next play. I'm going to win the next play no matter what happened on the last one. And yeah, I got it wrong and I didn't run the right route, because I'll do that some as a freshman, but I am not phased and I don't go in the tank. And so I think it's those two things. Obviously picking up, having the IQ to handle the game plan and the adjustments that you have to make against all the different coverages is important too, but it really starts to me with the skill set and then their mentality of just because coach is raising Cain because I ran the wrong route or didn't make the right adjustment, I'm not phased and I'm ready to play the next one.
Nathan and Stokes.
What does Alex's situation look like right now, either for the preseason and throughout the season?
Getting better, thankfully. Not clear to participate just yet, but he's with us here. Was in our meetings last night and is in the 120. So we're hopeful that he'll be back with us soon, but seems to be making some progression.
Roscoe, and then JG.
You looked at that personally, you would have called?
Maybe you should.
Yeah. You like to have a theme for fall camp.
Yeah.
And every year, what's the theme for this year?
It's gratitude. It's a word I think we probably all could use a little more. I think when we operate with, not to be morbid or to create any type of fear, but the brevity of life is accurate, it's true, it's real, and my clock's ticking, and I probably have lived over 2/3 of my life, and I should be grateful for every single day that I have, and you combine that with all the many blessings that Auburn has blessed me, our staff, our players with, it should be received with gratitude. And I think I really addressed three things last night. As a parent, you want your kids to grow to be independent, and you go from changing their diapers and feeding them bottles to hopefully them being able to feed themselves and ultimately, become adults and live their lives accordingly. But building a team, you kind of want it's the exact opposite. You want to be dependent upon each other to meet the standard that we've all agreed upon, and the great teams, I think, do that. And I think there's kind of three, maybe unconscious presumptions of pride that we all have. One being gossip, slander. We addressed it, and we don't do that. There's a way to handle that, and it's your team, then it's got to stop. And how does it stop? It stops with you in the locker room, and you can make it really awkward for people if they want to talk about others, and you just look at them with a blank stare. It kind of falls on deaf ears, and it kind of ends. And the second presumption of pride is that we somehow have control over the plans we make, when truthfully we don't. We just have today, and so maybe we should make the most of this day. And then the third presumption of pride is that the wealth that we've received provides us some type of security and comfort, and is meant just for my kingdom and not for others. And so we actually went into we finally have it created in Alabama now, where our foundation that we've been a part of for years can help orphans and foster care kids in Alabama. And I challenged our kids to use some of their resources to help us. Jill and I have given a large amount to Auburn for others, and we'll start meeting the needs to try to keep as many foster care kids in the state of Alabama out of the system that we can, and letting our players decide what needs are met, which is always very interesting conversations, because it's difficult for them to have to decide that. And so, and we had some great times, but gratitude is our theme.
JG, Benny Hensley.
Yeah, Jay Tate with AuburnSports.com, so you said it as that. First day of practice, what kind of things do you expect to see today? I mean, the way you guys train year round, and when you and I were young, these kids would show up and it was the first day.
Yeah.
These days, are you expected to just jump right in today and get work out?
I expect it to be sharp. There's no reason. We've hit this install many times, offensively, defensively, and I see no reason why. I mean, obviously you have some young kids here that were only here this summer that you might see some mistakes out of, but we don't have a ton going in today. I believe in that. It's something I think we were a little off on last year, trying to install too much, and I'd like to install everything in like 4 days. I can always game plan and add something, but I want to get really good at what we think we're going to do, and I'll be disappointed if we're not fairly sharp today. Now, you don't have pads on, and the D-line will be a little extra dominant probably, but I still expect us to be sharp.
Road to Hensley. Your microphone's coming.
Coach, a lot of success on the recruiting front recently. Obviously, you and your coaching staff play a really big role in that. There's a lot behind the scenes that goes on. Just kind of what can you say about folks like Beyond the Web and her team, and just kind of the role they play in the success we've seen recently?
And it's a great question. Recruiting is, obviously I get really excited when I see all of the positive things that are said about recruiting, and typically my name gets attached to it somehow, but truthfully, that there's so many others that play bigger roles than I do, and Bianca and her staff are a huge role in that. Will and his staff and personnel, all the GAs who do all the chauffeuring around, and the analysts and the position coaches. It's a team effort. It's a philosophy that I think I have a whole building that's bought into now. Yes, I do get to set the philosophy and how we're going to do it, and we're fortunate to be doing very well right now, and obviously it's constantly changing, but sitting here today, our plan of what we wanted to accomplish in the 25 recruiting class is on track, and hopefully get a little more good news in the coming weeks, and try to finish out this class around that top 5 area.
Front right, Philip.
You, SEC being a very physical league, and you're in preseason camp, how do you balance preparing for that and trying to keep people healthy?
That is a daily discussion. Last night's last meeting with the staff was just about that, how much do you tackle? How much do we let this guy go? Do we put him in a yellow jersey? Do we know what he can do? We just got to get him to the bus. It's just an everyday dilemma, and I don't know that I have the formula that is the exact right one, but I do know that you better get your best players to Saturday, and maybe we're a little rusty in the first few Saturdays, but maybe that picks up. But we're going to try our best to protect. I mean, we need to find out what some can do, but some we know what can do, and we got to try to protect them if at all possible.
Get 3 or 4 on TV, then we'll come back up front. Jack.
Coach, last year was all about getting to know the players, getting your system, your culture installed. This summer in year 2, what has been the biggest difference for you? And you have a fairly young team this year. How do you get them ready for the rigors of SEC football?
One of the disappointing things, I think, and me being honest with myself, is I don't know that I got as much done in year 1 that I would have liked to have done. Culturally, chemistry, system, and so it's kind of like a restart, but it's one that I'm really excited about because of the chemistry that I sense in the building right now with the staff and the confidence that I see in the players right now when they walk around. We are depending on a lot of young kids, and that's unknown exactly how well they'll perform in a league like this, but very excited about their potential for sure, and we're going to do our best to get them ready.
Stand middle back.
Coach Julian Mitchell, WBTM 13 in Birmingham. To answer that question there, as you said, do things differently. What is it exactly you'd like to do differently entering this fall camp this time around?
Well, we started back in January of just getting, like I said at SEC Media Days, this is no reflection of anybody but me, and just getting myself totally comfortable with everyone that's in the building, and then getting the culture the way we want it within the team, which I don't know, anytime you take over a program that has not had the success that it desires, I think it takes a season or 2 to get your roster the way you want it, the culture the way you want it, and but I'm very, very pleased with the progress that's made since January, mostly due to the leadership of our culture council and what they're demanding that the standards be in this program. So that's exciting for me going into year 2, and I love our staff. And everybody in this building has either worked with me or for me before, and it's a comfortable feeling.
3 row, back left, and then we'll come back up front.
Hey, Coach. We were talking to Pete Thorne at SEC Media Days, and he said about Aaron Nix that he's noticed just more attention to detail and urgency at your practices. What have you noticed since when you came on board here in Auburn?
Yeah, of course. Nix was with me for five seasons, and so I think he is very comfortable with me. I'm very comfortable with him. The verbiage is the same, and I don't think he has to wonder, hey, what coach really expects with this. And I was just sitting in his meeting with he and Kent in there, and listening and trying not to talk as much and let them talk, but he's saying exactly what he should be saying. And if you're talking about this concept stream and seeing it the exact same way I see it and telling that to the players just gives me this, kind of fuzzy feeling that I'm like, this is exactly what I would have said, and that's what we're getting in Derek Nix.
Hey, Coach Jonathan Hoffman with WTVM. Peyton Thorne, second year as your quarterback here. What are you looking to see from him over the next few weeks, and what were your conversation, or what have they been like with him leading up to this game?
Yeah, we've had great conversations all summer. Had good ones. I think he is starting to learn my mindset. Just like in this morning's meeting, we've got a concept going on. There's one look that I don't think this concept has an answer for, and not many people really would see it that way probably or know it. within our building, but because of our meetings, I'm getting ready to say it in my mouth, and whoa, this one right here, this is the one. And Paige's like, we've already talked about it, I'm gonna check Fitch right there, good, I'm golden. I expect to see him at this age of his career to know my mind and to know the adjustments to get us in the best possible scenario, whether it's pass or run, and to know situational football. I expect that of him, and it's my job. Ultimately, the buck stops with me, and I have to own what his performance is. But if it's 3rd and 1, we have an RPO called, you know what? I have given him the tools to get the first down without having to throw the football. And so we have to understand the entirety of the offense, and I feel really comfortable that he's at a point that he's in pretty good position for that.
Hey, Coach, Johnny Conn, ABC 54 in Birmingham. Obviously, there was a ton of buzz with Camp Coleman early enrollee, had a good spring game. Now, as Perry comes in, how do you feel their skill sets can complement each other, and how excited are you to get them out in the practice field?
Thrilled that they looked the part. That's what an SEC receiver should look like. That's what Auburn should recruit all the time in the South. They're out there. You got to go get them. You got to work hard to get them because everybody wants them. But DeLand Perry and Cam and Malcolm and Bryce, I mean, I think we have one of the top recruiting classes in the country. And those guys, Cam's probably a little farther ahead because he had all the spring to learn what we're doing. And Perry hasn't practiced yet, or Malcolm hasn't practiced yet against the defense. Now they've done stuff against the air, but now we get to go and do it and see how they perform when somebody's up pressing them and causing resistance. And I think that's the only way that you can strain to prepare for these games is by practicing that way. And so it'll be curious to see, but there's no question they're talented. I'm careful not to put too much expectations on them in year one, but it wouldn't surprise me if they contributed in a big way.
2nd row left.
Hey, Coach. Peter at PSAO.com. Is there anybody else who is not available for the start of injury-wise, not available for the start of the camp?
Tyler Johnson, we will hold out today and tomorrow, but he ran yesterday and looked good. It's just a hamstring deal, but I think he's really close to being able to be back full go. Is that it? I think that's it.
Stay in the 2nd row, Bill's got one.
Well, it's Connor Scott too, but that sort of leads into your young defensive backs out. How important is it for them to step up and get you depth?
Yeah, I think that, if you ask me, and I don't know, I think it was Rosie or somebody that asked me at SEC Media Days kind of what the key to this season will be, and I really think it will be how well do our young DBs and our young receivers play. And obviously, let's take out staying healthy. You need to stay healthy at those key positions that we think we're good. We think we're good at running back and tight end and O-line, but linebacker. But we're thin there. We need to stay healthy there. But if you take all of that out and we stay healthy, how well do these young DBs and these young receivers play? And I feel the same way about those young receivers. I think Cam Lee's going to be an NFL corner. I think Champ Anthony's had an incredible offseason, and Jerry Thompson's got some experience and leadership back there too, and obviously Keontae's got to lead and stay healthy. But man, then you got J.D. Law and Antonio Kite and Crawford. These are young kids that haven't played very much football, and they're going to have to play. And so I think how well they do and those receivers do will kind of be a big part of the story.
Front left, Ryan.
Yes, recently it was put out there that the NCAA is going to expand the football rosters to 1 out of 5, starting with the 25 class, I believe. How does that change the way you guys recruit and build a roster?
Well, I wish I could get confirmation on that because it would change. And just the quandary that we're all in. I was talking to another fellow coach this morning, and we don't have that confirmation. We hear all of that, and then the next day you hear, well, it might stay at 85, and we might just stay with the current structure we have with 85 plus 20 or 85. And so it's made it very, very difficult on exactly how you go about this signing class. The hope, I think, will be that we certainly have more clarity by the December signing period, but even then, you're probably going to be a little bit late to try to do that. So I guess you will have to go either portal to if you are going to 105, and then the other question is, what in the world happens to all of our current walk-ons? Surely they're going to have some grace there and not just immediately say you got to do away with all of those. So there's a lot of questions left to be answered, but no one with authority, and trust me, I talk to John Cohen all the time about this, but no one has been able to say to me, hey, you're going to be at this number next fall, and so I'm kind of still wondering myself.
Got a few more, Phil.
You, with the new rules about communication, tablets on the sideline, can you just kind of talk about where y'all are with that and how you intend to do it?
Yeah, we don't know. We're fixing to go try it out here in a minute. I'm probably going to throw the helmet-to-helmet communication on the ground a few times today, just because it's new to me, but certainly going to try to use it and find out how you can use it to be advantageous to you. It wouldn't shock me if you see more teams getting in the huddle, because it really doesn't change anything if you're not in the huddle. I mean, you're still going to have to signal to the receivers and other people if you're a no-huddle team. So we're kind of exploring some of that. Tablets, on the other hand, I do think there has to be a system for that, one which we talked thoroughly through. And now that analysts can be a part of the instruction process, it certainly helps where they're having the tablets that are tagging plays in the series, where there's not a lot of wasted time when your team comes to the sideline of what we need to really address. And so we do have a plan in place for that. I still don't truthfully know exactly how we're going to use the helmet to helmet. I mean, I know I will. I can talk to Peyton or our quarterbacks up to 15 seconds, but still not quite sure what all that means yet for us.
Yep. Nathan for you.
Hugh, what do you think, looking back at last season, were some of the pitfalls when it came to running the RPO with Peyton? And he talked so much in the spring about things feeling different in that regard, things feeling a little sharper. What did you observe in the spring that you think was working better there?
I don't want to talk about last year anymore, truthfully. And again, I want it to be on my shoulders that it was my fault, and I don't want to. I'm not a blame guy. It just this spring, I think we put more tools in his toolbox and made a commitment to fix the issues that come up in the RPO, which there are really three main issues. If you know RPO offense, that can happen, that you better have answers for, and you better not have the same answer every single time. And I think if you sat down and talk with him right now, he knows very clearly what my three answers are, and hopefully he'll start learning situationally which one of those he should go to. And I think that's why he feels more comfortable coming out of spring practice.
With Jeremiah Cobb, what differences have you seen back from year one to early on?
The size of his thighs. I mean, he's been with Coach Dom now a while, and he looks the part. I mean, not that he did before, but man, he's starting to really look like an SEC running back, and he's bigger, stronger, probably faster. I love his smile. I love it. He has a contagious personality. He's fun to coach and be around. As that whole running back room is that way. And you know, happy to announce that we've honored Justin Jones and Griffin Speaks with a scholarship, and it's well deserved. They earned it, and excited that we can do that for them too. But I'm expecting big things out of Jeremiah.
Got one more back left, Dan.
Dan Pack, ESPN 167. Coach, last year you were dealing with 50, 60 new Auburn players on the 2 deep going into fall camp. That number is different. There's been far less turnover this past off season. What are the benefits of having more stability in the second year, having guys that are so many guys that are back from last year's team?
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. I mean, I think they know me, know our system, know our culture better, and hopefully, you know, are more hungry to, you know, have more success, more consistency. We weren't. I mean, we were in some really good games last year, but the consistency was not there from week to week, to game, from practice to practice, and ultimately that comes down to either coaching or the culture or a combination. And you know, I have to start with the coaching and see, you know, what can I do better, what can our staff do better, and then look to the team for the culture. And I think that's hopefully where we've made strides for year 2.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.